What you are about to witness is a nightmare.
No glimpse, no false metal.
Insufficient data at the moment, Star Child.
Check 1, syphilis. Check 2, syphilis.
Death by stereo. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Give me a bottle of anything and glazed donut. To go.
Grays, ghouls, and groupies.
Oh, hello, it's Paul McCartney. Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for joining in. Oh, thank you. I'm not dead. I'm right here. Paul McCartney here. Hello.
Paul, can I have your autograph? Paul,
No,
look
please,
over
no
here.
more,
Paul,
no more.
Paul. Is it true? Shane, that you're not dead, Shane?
Yeah, see?
Hello.
Hello.
God.
Hello,
Hi, everybody. Never not chaotic.
Never not. We had Red Bulls. We're ready.
Oh, God, that's what it is. We did have Red Bulls. I chugged mine. Do you still have?
Nothing.
Nada. We both chugged our Red Bulls sugar-free vanilla iceberry, I think. Oh, so good.
So good. So good.
Anyway, I'm Kenna.
And I'm Maddie.
And this is Grey's Ghouls and Groupies.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yes, this is episode 3, part 2 of Paul is Dead, question mark?
Question mark?
Question mark.
I
I don't know. We may find out, or the world may never know. Just like how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Hopefully we don't get sued for that. It's fine.
You know,
We're not.
please don't sue us, actually.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We
Yes.
appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Everyone, thank you for listening to our last 2 episodes. We appreciate that.
I know.
so
Thank you
much.
for listening and also like giving us all your feedback.
Yes.
AKA praising us because it was all positive.
We're very shocked. We
Thank
are
you.
very shocked.
I'm so flattered but never humbled. Just kidding. I'm very humbled.
We're very shocked.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, seriously, you guys have been amazing and we really appreciate it because definitely this has gone better already than we expected.
As
so-
I just almost burped into the mic.
Oh, I wish you would have.
We're amateurs over here. We're amateurs.
Very, very much amateurs. But even though we are amateurs, I think we have a little bit of biz nasty that we want to get out of the way. Not really, but we are going to be making stickers and having stickers made, actually, I should say. So if anyone would like a sticker with our logo, we have a old like OG logo that we might make some stickers of and maybe even design some ourselves. Just like some fun little graphics. I don't know. But we are definitely getting some of our logo made. So if anyone would like a Grey's Ghouls and Groupies sticker, please let us know. We'll probably keep an eye out on socials. We'll probably post about it there and then do like a little giveaway from like, I don't know, the first like 5 or 10 people to either like message us or we'll do some kind of randomized raffle. I don't know, but we'll send you stickers. So yeah.
You know you want a sticker.
Yeah. Keep an eye out on our socials for that. And then Maddie, did you have anything you'd like to add?
Keep sending in stories, please.
Please.
Please. Keep sending them in. We're getting a few. Very, very happy to get a few. Thank you for those of you who have sent in your stories. If you or a loved one or a friend or a rando, anybody, have experienced anything paranormal, doesn't have to be paranormal. If you've met a rock star, if you have just experienced anything that has to do with this podcast in your life, please write it out and send it in. Grey's Ghouls Groupies Pod at gmail.com.
Please.
Felt like I was in a car commercial there.
It sounded like you were in a car commercial just now.
Absolutely. That was my goal there. But no, really, you guys, it can be about anything. Seriously, UFOs, aliens, cryptids, ghosts. Maybe you've seen the ghost of Elvis. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I did briefly talk about my Elvis situation. I still need to text my mom and kind of, I don't know, make sure I have all the right details and memory about that because it is pretty crazy. Yeah, Maddie just made a face because my dog's just sitting here licking
his
himself.
ass. Just licking his little ass.
Licking his butt. We had a conversation about how our nose stays away from our bottom, but that didn't work. So
Didn't work out.
Tyler, you can
Speaking
cut
of,
this or
shout
keep it in.
out to Tyler Warren for,
Tyler Warren for
being
editing.
our terrific editor. Thank you.
Yes, editing out a lot. Oh, now he's gone down to his pee-pee. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Tyler, for editing out everything.
Great start. Great.
Wow. They're great.
But yes, if you guys don't mind, I'm so sorry. That took a beeline to hell. But if you don't mind, keep sending in stories, please. We would love to hear from you, and we'd love to read them. Again, I know we've said it, but you can remain anonymous, make up a funny fake name, do whatever you please. But we would really appreciate your stories.
Definitely. I'm excited. Like the ones that we've gotten so far have been really, really good, and I can't wait
To share.
Yes, to record that and to share it. Oh, I'm so excited. They're so good. So there's one in particular that we asked for that we already knew, and we were like, hey, this is so good. Like, you have to like type it up and send it to us. And that was the first one that we got. So again, thank you, Warren.
Warren.
All right, Maddie, do you want to tell us about Paula's Dead Part 2?
Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody. So where we left off, we were going over the death clues within the music, albums, album covers, etc., etc. Now, I want to take you on a journey through the physical clues.
This is what I'm most excited about.
This is going to be quite interesting. It was quite interesting to research and read about. So, nothing to do but to get to it. So, as we all know, those were I'm going to say most. I more than likely left some clues out, but those were most of the clues from the music, but we aren't quite through yet.
Ooh, I'm excited.
The music was a huge part of this conspiracy, but not the only factor at play. We have to also dive into the physical clues, aka the actual physical changes to Paul's voice, gasp, and appearance after 1966. As wild as it seems, not just fans, believers, sleuths studied these differences, but actual scientists did as well.
Wow. This should, really a lot of time and effort has been put into this.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Indeed. So, let's jump into what all of them found. Now, let's talk the changes to Paul's physical appearance first. Fans were notably shocked when the Beatles donned their new looks in 1967. Paul had said on August 16th, 1966, that they, being the Beatles, wanted to have a record for Christmas. However, the next song to come out was Strawberry Fields Forever on February 17th, 1967. The promo video was played on the Dick Clark Show in March of 1967, and fans had objections, to say the least. The cute Beatle now looked a lot older, and many even said ugly. They were dragging them.
Dang.
Oh man, they were not happy.
That's like what they do to Justin Bieber nowadays.
No, really. They were dragging, all of them, but really specifically Paul. Again, he was the cute Beatle. They were like, this man looks fugly.
They didn't have to drag Ringo or John. I think the Mirror did that for themselves.
Sorry, guys.
I'm
but
not.
I have to agree. Now, fans thought that the new Paul looked taller than the older one. Oh. In one incident, while filming for the Magical Mystery Tour, he and the Beatles' assistant Mal Evans were refused entry to the hotel restaurant because they didn't look the part. There is even a claim that in Tokyo, Japan in 1980, Paul's fingerprints did not match the fingerprints that were taken in 1966 when the Beatles had visited that year.
Okay.
Now,
why are they taking fingerprints?
because he got arrested.
Oh. You know what?
Marijuana possession.
That ain't nothing.
I know.
He didn't pull an Aussie and he didn't go piss on the Alamo.
Nah.
That Ozzy shouldn't have been arrested for that either.
Justice.
It's the Alamo.
It's the Alamo.
It needs to be peed on.
Yeah.
It needs to be pissed on.
He was arrested in Tokyo, Japan for marijuana.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And I have to say allegedly, because there is truly no proof that the fingerprints didn't match, but it was an allegation that the fingerprints did not match. Now, there is obviously a ton of speculation from fans who believe in Paul is dead and plenty of rumors to go around. I think I could honestly spend hours talking about the thoughts and opinions of the sleuths out there. But I want to get down to what the quote-unquote science says.
Big science fans over here. Bill Nye, you have my respect, good sir.
Bill.
Bill Nye the science guy. Bill Nye the science guy. And that's when they go, Bill. And then he goes, inertia is a property of matter.
Would you like her to do the whole thing? Please let us know.
You know what? For $10, I will.
GraySkullsGroupiespot@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to perform the entire Bill Nye the Science Guy theme.
You know what? I have
here.
no shame. I will do it and I will post it to TikTok. So if that's how we get TikTok followers, you know what? So be it. I'll make a fool out of myself. I've done worse for less. True story.
Yeah, we both have. Let's be honest, we both have. All right, let's get into this, you guys. So author Linda Goodman decided to use physiognomy. Now, I have to say this. That is the pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience in quotation marks?
Nah, I mean, it's pretty widely believed that this is a pseudoscience.
Okay, pretty junk science.
Yeah, but I wanted to include this. But that is the study and analysis of facial features. So, to see if Paul, November 1966, and after were the same person, she studied several photographs taken of him before and after that date and concluded the individual was indeed not the same. She says it was indisputably clear that the eyebrows, nose, ears, and eyelids were so drastically different in the two Pauls. Forensic anthropologist Dr. J. Lawrence Angel concurred with her findings as well. Thought that was pretty crazy.
So, just two, though? Just like two agreed?
Yeah.
But what about all these other scientists?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting there.
I'm jumping the gun.
Jumping the gun.
Sorry.
Two Italian forensic scientists named Gabriella Carlesi and Francesco Gavanzeni.
You have to say it right. Gavazzeni.
Kenna's got that.
I don't.
Anytime I reach that last name, I'm just going to let Kenna take the wheel.
There you go. Fresh pepper. Sorry. Grazie. Sorry.
Those two took on the Paul is dead conspiracy in 2008. They had debunking it in mind. Carlesi specialized in the identification of people through craniometry, basically the comparison of skull features. She also specialized in forensic odontology, which is the study of teeth. And I had to add this in here. A lot of the times it's specifically used in a forensic nature to identify human remains, analyze trauma, and evaluate malpractice claims. Just thought that was interesting.
Okay. That is.
Isn't it?
That's smart, too.
Right?
Like, I mean, your teeth, they tell you can tell a lot about your teeth.
For sure. And these two obviously have big brains. Because, Kenna, do you mind?
Gavazzeni.
Thank you. Was a computer scientist who specialized in computer analysis. Now, I could have written all this out, you guys, but I have decided to read an excerpt from the Plastic Maca by Tina Foster. I really thought it would just go over better this way, so I'm going to read you guys quite a few things. Hang in there, buckle up. I'll be honest, it's kind of a lot, but I thought this was the best way to go about it, so I'm going to read from a book.
I feel like I'm back in, like, high school.
Yes, you are.
Yikes.
All right. Let me get comfortable. Hang on, you guys. Oh, yeah, this light is perfect. Hang on. Gotta touch the mic a bit. Okay, here we go.
Tell me a story, Papa.
Papa's gonna definitely tell you a story. All right, so Carlesi and...
Gavazzini.
You didn't say it right.
I know.
Gavazzini.
Gavazzini. Is that offensive? I have an Italian grandmother. You know what? Hi, Nana.
We are doing so great. Okay. Now, Carlesi and Gavazzini identified structural differences between Paul's right ear in photographs up to 1966, and then of what was probably a prosthetic ear in the late 1990s.
Just like Paul Stanley?
Correct.
There's something with the Pauls in their ears.
I'm telling you. This is, okay, I gotta say, personally for me, this is probably the most interesting of all the evidence, is this whole ear thing. Because one difference was in the tragus, which is the small cartilage covered with skin that overhangs the entrance of the ear and ear canal. The tragus is a feature that cannot be changed by surgery. In the two sets of photos, the tragus varied in size and shape. The area just above the ear canal entrance was also different before and after 1966. Another feature that differed was that Paul's earlobes were attached, whereas they call him McCartney 2 in this book, whereas McCartney 2s are unattached.
Can I say one thing about the tragus? Is I have had both of my traguses pierced multiple times. They can change shape. That cartilage does not grow back. I will say that.
Okay, fair. Fall apparently wore prosthetic ears to cover up his biometrically different ears, such as the prosthetic ear from the late 1990s noted by the Italian forensic team. The long hair he grew circa 1967 was no doubt meant to conceal the ears so that no obvious differences could be detected.
Prosthetics just weren't that good. As someone with a special effects background, prosthetics...
She's coming to get you.
I'm coming to get you. But no, like, special effects, real, like, modern day special effects, yes, that you could get away with that. Back then, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you could pass it off.
Okay. The discrepancy in the shape of the palate was, quote, amazing, according to Carlesi. Before 1966, Paul's palate had been small, which caused his teeth to become misaligned. After Sgt. Pepper, 1967, however, the palate widened considerably, even to the point that the front teeth were no longer rotated on their axes as they had been prior to that.
So he got braces.
He got braces. The difference in the palates could not be explained away. Although it was possible to change the shape of the palate in the 1960s, it would have been a traumatic procedure. Maxillofacial surgery would have been required, which would have involved the opening of the palate suture, breaking the bone, and inserting a prosthetic implant. Paul would have had to have worn braces for over a year, which would have been impossible to hide.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think I've ever seen a picture of Paul with braces.
I don't think I have either.
Right?
Not that I'm the Paul McCartney or Beatles expert, but I definitely haven't.
I have not either. He would have also required continuing orthodontic treatment. Such a bloody and painful operation would have had serious repercussions for a professional singer.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Because teeth are unique to the individual, dental records are used to establish identity. McCartney 2, Fall.
Fall.
I'm just going to call him Fall, you guys, okay? Fall's teeth differ considerably from Paul's, thus betraying him to be an imposter. In this case, Paul's upper right canine had protruded outward from the line of the rest of the teeth prior to 1966. The same tooth no longer protruded in pictures from 1967 and later. And again, never been pictured with braces.
That's so... Also, I feel like it would be hard, and I know there's like, I'm sure there were NDAs and that kind of stuff back then.
Right.
But like, I don't know, after all of this time, none of these surgeons, nurses, doctors, nobody's spoken out and been like, oh yes, like, we performed this surgery on Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just interesting to me because, like, again, with, I think I said this last episode with, like, deathbed confessions.
Yeah.
Nobody's come out one way or another, though.
True.
And, like, there have been multiple people who've had the opportunity either way.
I agree.
So,
I agree. And it is a pretty short time period, right? Like, they're talking about his teeth prior to 66, and then the same tooth no longer protruded in pictures from 1967. Like, that's a pretty short period of time.
Especially with, like...
Teeth and stuff.
Yeah, teeth, like, gosh, going through dental stuff is such a long, drawn-out process. Like, I went through that as a kid, so I would know. But, yeah, that's just... Especially with the technology back then.
Right?
I don't know. They definitely, like, things took longer to heal. Like, probably needed multiple surgeries where, like, now you could do it in one type of thing, you know?
Right.
So it is a short time frame.
That's all I'm saying. That's all
I can't
I'm
stop
saying.
going, Oh, God. You can cut that out, Tyler.
Don't cut it out. All right. Analysis of the lips also revealed differences. Photographs showed that the oral commissure, i.e. the line formed by the upper lip meeting the lower lip, was suddenly stretched around 1967. This is technically impossible even with surgery. According to Carlesi, the lips can be inflated and increased in volume, but the width of the oral commissure cannot vary that much. In Paul's case, the difference between the before and after is too great to have been caused by surgery. In addition, Paul's lips were full with a pointed cupid's bow, whereas the imposter's lips are thin with a flat cupid's bow.
Was lip filler even a thing back then?
I don't know.
I kind of...
What do we say? Google it.
Google it. I don't know.
I don't either.
I know Botox is more recent. I feel like filler maybe has been around longer, but again, I don't know. I just get the procedures done. I don't know anything about it.
Another considerable morphological difference
Gavazzeni
and Carlesi discovered was in the mandibular curve. The front...
Mandibular? I hardly know her.
Play the laugh track. Oh, God. All right. Sorry. Kenna got me.
Keep it in.
The frontal curvature of the jawline was different in the two sets of photos of Paul. Before 1966, each side of Paul's jaw had been composed of two curves. Beginning in 1967, however, it consisted of only one curve. The difference in measurements was over 6%, which was well beyond the margin of error. Interesting. Uh-huh. The forensic team also documented a change in the skull shape. Oh my God.
How can they see under all that hair, though?
Good question. Every person has a uniquely shaped skull that can be used to identify an individual, much like fingerprints and teeth. The length and width of an adult's head cannot be changed with plastic surgery. However, the new McCartney skull is more elongated than Paul's rounder skull.
Now, is this information still under that umbrella of, like, junk science? Yeah. Okay. I just had to ask.
It's tough to say, right? Because these two are, like, real forensic scientists, you know.
I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just like, how credible are we, like, I don't know, as a society taking this, how credibly. But honestly, at the same time, it's like, this is stuff you can see with your eyes.
Yeah.
And like you said, these are actual, like, real scientists and doctors studying this.
It's hard to say. It really is.
Like, we're down to like the forensics level too. So
we are. And when I was reading this, I was just like, the head thing. You know, like how are you just going to look at photos when it could just be the angle of the photo?
Well, exactly. And like different haircuts, again, like you said, different angles, different lenses, like different.
Yeah. Like, unless you're just
lighting,
grabbing his bulbous head and you're feeling on it, like
that's the thing too. Is we're
really
not
know?
actually taking measurements. We're just like guessing and doing
from photos.
Yeah,
that's tough, right?
I don't know. Maybe they wanted to like jump on the bandwagon and they're like, oh yeah, compare these two. Like, who knows? I'm not trying to take away from their credibility as like scientists at all.
Neither of us are, but it's a little tough.
It does make you go,
Gavazzani noted, it is effectively impossible to change the conformation of the skull as an adult. Yet, judging from the photos, they're judging from photos, this is exactly what it shows. The song I Am the Walrus seems to refer to the difference in Fall's face compared to Paul's. Man, you've been a naughty boy. You let your face grow long.
That feels like a stretch.
Because
that could also be like face go long, meaning like you're sad.
True. The forensic scientists also found disparities in the nasal spine. Interesting.
That sounds painful.
Which is the point between the nostrils where the nose projects out from the face. The nose can be used to identify a subject because it is unique and does not change over time. I don't know about that one. I've gotten
my nose does change.
It does. And I've gotten my nose done. And obviously, like that is a surgery that changes it, right? But even after, I mean, I got my nose done in 2020. Baby, this bump's just been a growing. Huh.
Well, yeah, and also, like, your cartilage in your nose and your ears continues to grow as you age.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's definitely something that's more prominent once you get to, like, your 60s, 70s.
Right.
But still, like, it can change. What if you got hit in the face with, like, I guess there would be a football.
Yeah.
Like, a soccer ball. Like, what if you got, like, you don't know, and it could have done a little something, like, at least damage the cartilage without being a full-blown...
True.
I don't know, but what we're saying is your nose and your ears, they both change.
I'm going to have to agree, but I don't think Tina agrees with us. The nasal spine is a distinctive feature that cannot be altered by surgery. Carlesi asserted that it was clearly different in pictures of McCartney from the first batch of earlier photos compared to the second group of later ones. She hinted that the mustache McCartney II began sporting in late 1966 was intended to conceal the difference. The facial hair may have also served to hide scars from plastic surgery, which are visible on McCartney II's lips and cheeks. Now that concludes Carlesi and...
I already forgot.
Gavazzani. That concludes their findings. Forensic, quote-unquote, forensic findings.
Okay, I mean, that was quite interesting. And, I mean, I do want to give it some merit, and I don't want to say, oh, like, we can't take this into consideration at all, because we definitely can. Yeah. But at the same time, if they admittedly are just going off photos, which, what else do you have to go on?
That's tough.
Like, be so for real.
That's tough.
It is hard.
That's really tough.
So you can't really say anything definitively.
You really can't. You really can't. And angles come into play there. How close or far away you are from the subject comes into play there. At least I feel like it does.
Oh, for sure. The lighting, if he's wearing any kind of like stage makeup, you never know.
Now, researchers also found changes in things like eye color, eyelashes, and eyebrows. Paul had deep brown eyes. His eyes are listed as brown on the Beatles color cards number 2. However, in the Strawberry Fields Forever promo video, the Foot on the Hill segment of Magical Mystery Tour, and in the Beatles' Hey Jude performance on the Smothers Brother Comedy Hour in 1968, his eyes appear to be green.
Okay, hear me out though. What if he did have like a fill-in?
Mm-hmm.
That just like if he was busy or didn't want to do it, or I don't know if they were having issues with the band, maybe they were having like minor breakups along the way or like disagreements, and Paul's like, hey, I'm not gonna like. What if they just had like a fill-in to go on like TV show? I don't know.
That could be a take. It really could be.
Like to go on TV shows and make public appearances that Paul didn't want to make or didn't want to do. It could be something like that, and that could account for, or it could again just be lighting. Or what if it was like, well, I guess that wouldn't make sense. I was gonna say if it was filmed in black and white and then like recolored later.
Right.
I mean, always a possibility, but it sounds like this was all stuff that was happening like in the moment.
And I gotta say, at least for me, I've heard of people's eyes changing color. I will say, though, I've never heard of someone's eyes changing color in terms of like going from dark, deep brown to another color. Like,
True.
I know people, at least, you know, some people are like, yeah, sometimes my eyes are blue and then sometimes they're green. Like, I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard people say that in regards to like, oh, if I wear this color, which
Right.
if you look at the color wheel, like certain colors do make your eyes like shift or like appear to shift one way or to pop more, you know?
For sure.
But I do get the going from dark to light. But then again, it could be just a lighting difference in whatever kind of lighting or lens he was being photographed or filmed with.
Perhaps. Many say that the new Paul clearly had sparse eyelashes and his right eyebrow was not naturally arched. This led to overcompensation and both eyebrows being arched, giving the new Paul a permanently surprised look.
Botox?
Perhaps.
I do love me some Botox, I'm sure. Again, I don't think Botox came out until like the 90s. It's a fairly recent thing. I could be wrong.
Do we want to do a quick Google? Just see. Seriously.
Let's see. Can that get us? Can we get sued for that? When did Botox come out? 1989.
Yeah.
That's when it was, okay, well, it was first approved by the FDA in the US in 1989.
Do we know how far back it goes?
When was Botox invented?
Now we're talking.
Okay. It's just all this AI slop that pops up first.
Fuck AI.
We literally hate AI so much. I know most people do.
We are very anti-AI
Okay.
on this podcast.
This article says that Botox enters the medical field. Fast forward to it sounds like maybe the 70s. I don't know. My phone's taking forever to pull it up.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, if there's anybody who's going to be getting it, I mean, it's the fucking Beatles. They got more money than they knew what to do with then. So,
True.
I mean, you know, it would be plausible if Botox was a thing then.
Okay, I mean, technically it began in the late 1800s.
Oh my God.
In 1895.
Holy shit, what are they injecting?
It started with, it was a source of a severe type of food poisoning.
Oh.
Okay, this is really interesting. Oh, okay. This is such a tangent. So it was, okay. These are a lot of big words that I'm not going to say. But yeah, it was the source of a severe type of food poisoning known as botulism.
Mm-hmm.
Checks out. This bacterium produces, botulinum toxin, one of the most potent neurotoxins known to science. Even in tiny amounts, it can cause paralysis and death by blocking nerve signals to muscles.
Wow.
And then it apparently enters the medical field in the 70s.
Okay.
So, here we are.
So that is a little tough to say. It's tough to say.
It's
huh?
right there on the cusp.
It really is.
But again, like you said, if anyone were to have access to this a little bit early, we know who it would be.
It would have been the Fab Four. It would have been the cute Beatle, right?
It would have been the top 1% for sure.
Keep himself cute.
That's why I get my Botox.
That's it.
No wrinkles around these parts.
Height was also a factor, and it seemed that Fall was a few inches taller than Paul. It was noticed that Paul seemed to be taller than the other Beatles when they used to be all around the same height. Paul's peak height was 5'10", although many think he was actually about 5'8", that's unclear. John was 5'11", George was 5'10", while Ringo was the shortest at a whopping 5'6".
Of course, it's the drummer.
The difference became more apparent in 1967, especially when comparing Paul to Ringo. He was definitely taller than him, but honey, these people swear he was towering over this little man.
So it wasn't just like, oh, he got new boots.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
At least that's how they put it. A researcher even used a Hofner violin bass, Ringo's 20-inch diameter bass drum, and the cor anglais on the Sgt. Pepper's album. 3.4 inches is, I guess, what he concluded, that the cor anglais, the size of it at least, as a yardstick, more or less to compare the heights of Paul and Fall, using an image of Paul playing a wall 5 string bass, about 34 inches, he concluded that the new Paul was about 2.5 inches taller.
I feel like that's still within like the margin of error.
Yep.
So, especially again, if we're just going off of photos, it kind of
It's just meh.
a little bunk science-y.
Very much so. Worth mentioning also is Fall may have had better eyes than Paul. Paul wore hard contact lenses for touring and press outings, but wore glasses often in the studio. But Fall was never photographed with prescription glasses on.
I can't say the same. I'm always wearing my glasses.
Another difference in the two is how they played. Paul plucked the strings with his fingers while Fall plays with his thumb. I am not a musician, and I gotta be honest, I've never watched or just studied how Paul McCartney plays bass, so I have no opinion on this at all.
Same. I plead the fifth. I don't know.
I also just, again, we're not musicians. I just feel like, can't you change that up? Do musicians change that up?
I feel like they do,
And they
depending on the
can.
style of like what song they're playing.
Exactly.
That's my understanding. I could be wrong. Again, we are not musicians.
We're not.
But
We may date musicians, but we are not musicians.
it's unfortunate.
Now, Paul was left-handed. It seems after 1966, Paul began to use his right hand, and quite a lot at that. In a 1963...
That sounded like a euphemism.
In a
Sorry.
1963 interview, Paul states, "The only thing I couldn't cure myself of was being left-handed. I do everything with my left hand, and no matter how I try, I can't change the habit. I just seem to do everything back to front. I used to even write backwards. Every time the schoolmasters would look at my handwriting, they would throw swinging fits."
I mean, okay.
So, as you know, Paul is seen holding a cigarette in his right hand on the cover of Abbey Road. We mentioned that in the previous episode. In the Magical Mystery Tour movie, Paul is seen holding a beer bottle in his right hand. At the beginning of the Fool on the Hill segment, Paul takes the cigarette out of his mouth with, what would you know, his right hand. In the Magical Mystery Tour booklet, Paul holds the wand in his, say it together everyone, right hand. He is shown in the Let It Be Naked booklet holding a cup of tea in his right hand.
Was he nude?
I don't know.
I said naked.
I know.
No.
It's probably the name of the booklet, I guess. I don't know. Beatles fans will know. I'm not going to know. And guess what we didn't do, you guys? I just thought about that. I didn't go back and listen to one single thing, and we should have.
Oh, yeah, I didn't either.
Fuck, we're amateurs.
Darn amateurs. For
we
sure.
really are.
We do not know what we are doing.
Even as recent as his appearance in Pirates of the Caribbean,
My special interests.
Dead Men Tell No Tales, he is shown holding a sword and playing cards right-handed. Dun, dun, dun. I had to add that one in there. I knew Kenna would like that.
If you don't know me, if you know me, you definitely know I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the first 3 specifically, and only really. I watched them too many times.
I love it.
It's an issue. Anyway, continue. Thank you.
And that is just, quite frankly, a few of many instances where people have been like, Paul's using his right hand. Paul's using his right hand. Why is Paul using his right hand? That was a pretty big thing in this research.
I mean, that makes sense. That's I would say one of the more convincing arguments or like more compelling pieces of evidence.
It is. And I fully understand people can be ambidextrous. We are not dumb to that fact.
Oh, no. My brothers are both ambidextrous.
But also, I really found that Paul quote pretty compelling when he is just clearly stating, hey man, I am left-handed. I have never been able to do anything with my right hand and only my left hand. Interesting.
I feel like that's such an obvious one that if they're faking it though, I'm like, wouldn't that be one of the first things that you kind of train out of, so to speak? The fake Paul or fall, if you will.
You would think, right?
But I
just
feel that
natural
way about,
instinct, though. Like, you just go to grab your cup, you're grabbing it with your dominant hand.
Yeah.
You know?
What
like,
if he
that's
had
just
like
natural.
a wrist injury or something that made him kind of start using his right hand versus his left and made like his left hand weaker, perhaps?
Paul McCartney, please email us. graysquirrelsgroupiespod@gmail.com. Let us know.
We have so many questions. As if.
We do have so many questions. So for this next quote-unquote segment or clue, this is going to be about the voice prints, quote-unquote voice prints. Again, didn't want to write it all out, I got to be honest. So I am going to read, once again, from Plastic Mecca by Tina Foster. Buckle up. Are we ready?
Buckled up.
Okay. In this case, voice prints have been instrumental in distinguishing between Paul's voice and the imposters. Voice prints are unique identifiers that can legally establish identity. I gotta say, though, you guys, I'm not sure how I feel about this either. I just want to go ahead and preface that.
Like it might be a little questionable.
To me, yeah, but
Okay.
the modern-day forensic use of voice prints started in the late 1960s and has been used in a large number of criminal cases ever since. Voice print identification involves the combination of both oral listening and spectrographic instrumental comparisons of the human voice. A person's voice is considered to be behavioral because it is based on how a person speaks, such as movement, manner, and pronunciation. Again, guys, I don't know how I feel about this. However, voice is also considered to be a physiological trait because every person has a unique voice print. The physical shape of the vocal tract is the primary physiological component. The vocal tract is made up of the oral and nasal air passages that work with the movement of the mouth, jaw, tongue, pharynx, and larynx to articulate and control speech production.
I feel like I'm in science class again.
Man, let me tell you, when I was reading this, I was like, oh dear God. Oh dear.
I haven't thought of the larynx, and I don't even know I said
Pharynx and larynx.
larynx. Pharynx. I haven't heard about that in years.
Voice biometrics technology converts speech to digital format and then extracts distinctive vocal characteristics such as pitch, cadence, and tone to create a voice print. Each word is reduced to segments composed of several dominant frequencies called formats. Each segment has several tones that can be captured in a digital format. The tones collectively identify the speaker's unique voice print. Holy fuck. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a hell of a lot. All right. So, Dr. Henry M. Truby, the director of language at the University of Miami, pioneered the study of voice printing. In 1969, at the urging of Robbie Young, Dr. Truby examined several audio recordings of the Beatles to determine if the group's sonic fingerprints matched. Dr. Truby ran 20 hours of experiments on dozens of Beatles records dating from the early 1960s on a sound spectrograph machine. This guy's doing it. This guy's doing the Lord's work here. The voice print results indicated that there were 6 different voices on the Beatles records. 3 people were identified as John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. The other 3 sounded, quote, roughly like Paul McCartney. However, the spectrograph revealed 3 different Pauls.
Okay. So now we have a third Paul entering the chat.
2 more, apparently, because there were 3 roughly sounding like
Paul. Well, we have
Paul.
Paul and Fall, and then we have...
Well, Paul would be dead.
Darth Maul.
So Maul, Fall, and, I don't know, Doll.
Y'all. Oh, Lord. Oh, jeez.
Professor Truby believed that there was reasonable doubt that 3 songs attributed to Paul were sung by the same person. He found the songs Yesterday, 1965, Penny Lane, 1967, and Hey Jude, 1968, to be suspiciously different because they produced 3 different sonograms. Dr. Truby said, quote, somebody else was singing at a time when the label would indicate that it was Paul McCartney. I hear 3 different McCartneys.
Okay.
Damn.
I mean, fair. I'll take it into consideration, I guess.
Right? I don't
It's
know.
like one of those things you put everything together and it's like, can I see it? Yes. And I know we still have more to get into.
We do, because we're moving on from the physical evidence now. And we're going to talk about the fact that there was a notable shift in Paul's personality. As I stated at the beginning, he had a reputation for being warm, approachable, and generous. An example of this is from his former fiancée, Dorothy Rohn, who he shelled out several weeks' wages to buy her an expensive leather coat. He also bought his father a house in July of 1964. After the supposed replacement came into the picture, however, the money was kept tight.
I don't know. Maybe he could have just, the fame, the fortune could have gone to his head, you know?
For sure. I mean, examples of
Gambled
this...
it all away, perhaps.
True. Examples of this include the fact that he bought his new bride to be Linda Eastman a wedding ring that only cost £12.
What?
Damn. She allegedly didn't have ready access to money either. He would give her a little money for groceries, but literally nothing more. Also, after Jim McCartney, who is Paul's father, passed away in 1976, he would not help pay for the medical bills. He then forced his stepmother, Angie McCartney, and stepsister, Ruth McCartney, out of the house he had purchased for his father soon after he passed. He said, y'all are out. Get out.
Gave him the boot.
Damn.
I mean, that sucks. Like, that's a shitty thing to do. But is that something that we see kind of happen with celebrities as they kind of get them closer, I don't know, richer?
For sure.
More fame, more fortune. You know, someone else is taking care of their financial books. Like, you never know.
Big fat ego. The charming McCartney the world had come to love and know didn't seem to be answering the door anymore. Paul, after 1966, was described as a, quote, prattling dickhead. Damn. Self-absorbed, rather arrogant, prone to black moods, and with not a particularly well-developed sense of humor was how he was now being painted. A quote from the man himself from an interview in 1968 goes like this: "Starvation in India doesn't worry me one bit. Not an iota. It doesn't, man. The truth about me is that I'm pleasantly insincere."
That's a real quote.
Yep.
Wow, he was not press trained whatsoever, was he?
Not at all. He said that. With his full chest, mind you. You can also look to the Beatles as a group for more evidence of his drastically changing personality. Ringo Starr was quoted in 1966 saying, "The best thing about this group is that we all work everything out between us." Yikes. Tell that to the Polynesian Hotel. That's all I'm going to say.
In Disney?
Yep.
Where, if you don't know, that's where the Beatles broke up. John Lennon was staying there and signed the paperwork at the Polynesian. Hopefully he ate Ohana on that
Afterwards. He better
Afterwards, yes. Ohana is the absolute best restaurant at Disney. Just FYI.
We at least know that fact. Because we love Disney.
Love.
George said in 1966 that the Fab Four had, quote, always cooperated with one another. Yikes. Ringo had quit the Beatles for a very short time in 1968 due to being dominated by Paul. George blamed Paul for the lack of collaborative spirit in 1969 during the Let It Be sessions. He even said he wasn't sensitive to stepping on other people's egos or feelings. And honestly, this list goes on and on and on.
Isn't that bold of John to say, though? Wasn't he like the most problematic?
No, that was George that said that.
Oh, never mind.
And George was not the most problematic.
No, George
he was a baby
sweet,
angel.
From what we know. John. It's a no for me, dog.
Sorry, everyone. I apologize if you like John. I just have strong
I don't.
feelings. Kenna will never apologize.
No.
We can even look to the Life article that was written in the midst of the conspiracy and the story behind it. Now, yes, this is the cover that if you hold it up to the light, it causes a car that was on the back page to reflect onto the photo of Paul and his family. It gives the illusion of the car impaling him, which is just pretty interesting to me. Life magazine wanted to get to the bottom of Paul is dead and sent a team to Scotland to do so. Dorothy Bacon, bacon.
Crispy?
I'm going to say she was probably crispy.
I think she was crispy.
She seemed like a badass.
Dorothy's a crispy name. I don't know what that means, but it makes sense at the same time.
It does. Dorothy Bacon and two others headed to his residence outside of Campbelltown. That's pretty ironic, huh?
Oh, I get it now.
William Campbell. Ugh. And that was Campbelltown, Scotland. The small team, with cameras in hand, descended onto the residence. Paul, enraged with the invasion of his family's privacy, raved them to get the hell off my property. In his enraged state, he ended up tossing a pail of water on one of the photographers. Now, obviously, we ended up with the story and the cover of Life magazine, but a lot of people say this is just another example of the new Paul's erratic, mean, and even violent behavior.
And this totally just kind of came out of left field around the same time frame, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could just be on Paul's side on this one, though. You know, like, Paul at the time was living on this little farm in Scotland.
Oh, I've seen the Simpsons episode.
Yeah, away from everyone. And then all of a sudden these randos, all these random journalists and shit are coming onto your property and you're like, what
it's totally valid. Like the paparazzi
get the fuck out of
has
here.
always sucked.
Right.
And like they're human too. Like I absolutely get it. But I just meant as like a general, you know, this seems to be a trend like within the band, but then, you know, tensions can be running high. So like all of this could also be explained, at least personality wise.
Exactly.
And some of the physical, I think, could be explained. Personality-wise, definitely.
And with all of this being said, you guys, I could spend hours upon hours upon hours listing more supposed evidence and clues. I gotta be honest. This was an absolute beast. And this is just the surface when it comes to quote-unquote proof that Paul is dead is fact and not a conspiracy. But I really want to talk about why people believed it. because I think that's a really big deal.
I think this is the part I'm most excited about.
So, we've covered the alleged crash, the secret replacement, and the seemingly endless clues. To me, though, the real mystery isn't whether or not Paul McCartney died in 1966, but rather, why did so many people actually believe it?
People love a good story. We love drama. Humans have never changed.
We really haven't.
In that respect, at least.
We really haven't. And let's be real for a second. The idea that one of the most famous people in the world could die and be secretly replaced sounds completely impossible. Yet millions of people bought into it. So what was going on? To answer that question, we have to understand the world of the late 1960s. It was a time of massive change and uncertainty. The Vietnam War was raging. Political assassinations like JFK in 1963 to RFK and MLK in 1968. Trust in governments and institutions were beginning to crack. The idea that people in power may not have the people's best interest in mind and could lie to the public didn't seem so far-fetched anymore. And if a government could keep secrets, why couldn't a record company and a band? The seeds of conspiracy thinking had already been planted. That's only part of the story, though. The other reason people believed it was the Beatles themselves.
Ooh.
They weren't just a band anymore, but had become symbols of the counterculture. Their music was becoming more experimental, their lyrics more abstract. Their album art transformed into being seen as strange. They were using symbolism like mad. Every song seemed to have a hidden meaning, the backmasking undeniable. Every photograph looked like it contained some kind of secret. Fans had been trained by them to look deeper. Then someone comes along and says, I think Paul is dead, and suddenly what seemed just strange and out there now looks like evidence. Song lyrics aren't just lyrics anymore, they are clues. A barefoot Paul on an album cover isn't just a barefoot Paul, it's a clue. A random number on a license plate, another clue. Once you start looking for clues, your brain begins connecting dots, even dots that were never meant to be connected. Psychologists call this pattern recognition. Humans are wired to find meaning. We are constantly looking for connections and hidden messages because our brains don't like the idea of randomness. Look up and you see shapes in the clouds. Coincidences labeled as fate. And in this case, people convinced themselves that the Beatles were secretly confessing to a decades-long cover-up through their art. Let's not leave out the aspect of it just being fun. I mean, this conspiracy was fun. This was long before the internet, no social media like TikTok or X, no Reddit rabbit hole to go down. Paul is Dead became a giant scavenger hunt. Friends grabbed their drinks of choice, sat around a record player spinning records backwards. They passed around photographs and debated clues. People stayed up late calling radio stations to rap about their theories. For fans, it was interactive. It turned being a Beatles fan into a game of Clue. And that's exactly why conspiracy theories survive. They give us a story to talk about. I mean, hell, here I am talking about it all these years later. They make the world feel bigger, stranger, and more exciting than everyday reality. The idea that Paul McCartney got older, more jaded, grew a mustache, changed his hairstyle, etc., I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of a boring take. The idea that he died in a tragic car accident and was secretly replaced by a double who still stands in the old Paul's shoes to this day? Baby, that's gold. That's show business. That's unforgettable. And maybe that's the real reason people believed it. Not because the evidence was convincing, but because the story was just too fascinating to let die. I guess if the
To
story...
live and let die?
Precisely. And I guess if the story isn't true, then what about all the clues? Were they just coincidence? Were the Beatles in on it for record sales? Or is there something still missing? And this is where I'm going to lay out the case against the conspiracy.
I have to say, I noticed that this is like one paragraph as opposed to like pages and pages of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that maybe Paul is dead.
Well,
Or are you going to be quick to debunk all of this?
kinda.
Okay, let it out. Hit me with it.
I mean, while the Paul is dead conspiracy is one of the most entertaining conspiracies to date, there are some pretty significant problems with it. I mean, the biggest and most obvious being there is absolutely no real evidence that he died in 1966. No death certificate, no police reports, no verified witness statements, no hospital records, nothing that confirms the alleged car accident even happened.
And this goes back to like my deathbed confessions theory that I just can't seem to let go of like somebody out of all of the people that would have been affected by this. Mm-hmm. I mean, a random nurse who just happened to be there when he gets rushed to the hospital. And you know, there were so many different instances like this. Like, you can't tell me that they're not going to give something away as a deathbed confession of like, hey, I have to tell my great-granddaughter Susie this, and like Susie's going to keep quiet about it. Like, no.
Right. And I mean, that goes back to the argument of like, the Beatles were so big, they were huge, the biggest thing in the world at that time. You're going to tell me not one person would be like, hey, honey, today Paul McCartney, man, he was in the emergency room. He's dead. Right. No, somebody's going to say something.
Exactly. Even if they were like paying people off, like somebody's going to say something at some point, especially 60 plus years on. Somebody would have said something.
Exactly.
I know I couldn't keep my mouth shut that long.
Exactly. And for a man who was and still is arguably one of the most famous people on earth, that's a huge hurdle. I know believers would argue that all of those records were covered up. That leads to another question. Could a secret of that magnitude really remain hidden all these years? I mean, think about how many people would have had to have kept quiet. The Beatles, their families, their manager, record executives, studio engineers, photographers, journalists, friends, even government officials in some versions of the theory. We're talking potentially hundreds of people. Not one of them has ever produced verifiable evidence proving a cover-up. They all either have nothing to prove or have kept their mouths shut this long. Then there's the replacement itself. According to the conspiracy, a man named William Campbell, aka Billy Shears, was selected from a Paul McCartney lookalike contest to take his place. Claims are he even underwent extensive plastic surgery and voice coaching. The problem here? Making yourself look like someone is one thing, but learning to be someone is something else entirely. Paul wasn't just recognizable because of his face. He had a unique singing voice, a distinctive way of playing the bass. He played multiple instruments at that.
Okay, but weren't some of the claims is that he was playing the bass differently? His voice sounded different.
Apparently.
Allegedly. Yeah. True.
But then, what you said is, we're not musicians, but I mean, that could just be based on a song he's playing.
True. That's so true.
Like, I know, in my experience, I date a musician named Tyler Warren, and sometimes he plays with a pick, and sometimes he picks with his fingers.
Right.
Like,
no, that's totally true.
Tyler is dead? ? Like, no. He also had a Liverpool accent, shared years of memories with family, lifelong friends, and other Beatles. Could another person really step into that role with no one noticing or saying something? I mean, really? There is absolutely no historical record or evidence that a lookalike contest occurred and that William Campbell existed. Fred even admitted that the article he wrote for his college newspaper about Abbey Road and listing all the clues was, this is a quote, made up. He is quoted saying, "I made it up."
Okay. Dun, dun, dun.
But there are the clues. However, many aren't as solid as they appear. For example, "Turn Me On, Dead Man" from the end of Strawberry Fields was really John saying cranberry sauce.
That's kind of, I think we discussed this between just the two of us, like the end of Love Bites by Def Leppard. It's Mutt saying something in the background, but everyone's like saying Jesus Christ. Everyone thinks that they're saying Jesus Christ of Nazareth, go to hell. And so
Right.
you have all these Christians in the comments like, oh, I'm never going to listen to Def Leppard again. I can't believe they would do this. Blah, 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 blah. And it's literally just Mutt Lange saying some shit. And they were like, haha, that's funny. Leave it in.
Yep.
So
Exactly. A lot of the clues have a completely different backstory rather than being death clues. The 28IF license plate on the cover of Abbey Road, well, guess what? Paul would have actually been 27 when that photo was taken.
okay.
Damn.
Well, but then it was saying like 28
He would have
if
been.
he wouldn't have died. He
Right.
would be 28 at one point.
Well, that could have been at one point, like what? I think it just meant when that photo was taken, if he would have lived, he would have been 28, which is not accurate because he actually would have been 27.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Okay.
The bare feet walking across the crosswalk, the story goes, Paul wore sandals that were uncomfortable that day, so he took them off to take the picture. Over the years, Paul himself has addressed the rumor with humor. As he joked in one of his interviews, he said, if he really had died, he'd be the last person to know. The final thing I'd like y'all to consider is the Beatles were brilliant artists. They loved wordplay, surreal imagery, double meanings, symbolism, and quite frankly, inside jokes. It's possible that once the rumors started, the boys thought, what the hell, and leaned into it. Not because they were confessing anything, but because they found it amusing. And they also weren't just a band, but a business by this point. They would have been silly not to see the dollar signs. I mean, hello, cha-ching. So where does that leave us? After decades of investigations, books, documentaries, and countless debates, there has never been credible evidence proving that Paul died. The legend itself refuses to disappear, and quite frankly, I don't think it ever will. And whether you believe it or not, it is a part of Beatles history.
I have never learned so much about the Beatles until now. Genuinely.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I don't think Paul's dead. I can now say that. I mean, I do think there are a lot of compelling pieces of evidence, but I do think it's more of connecting the dots and recognizing patterns that may or may not be there, but you want to believe something so badly that you're going to be like, oh, hey, this sounds like it could be that. I mean, how many times do we mishear lyrics and we're like singing the wrong lyrics for 20 years?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we can definitely hear things and hear words that are something totally, totally different, but we want to believe it's a certain thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to zero in on. That's what we're going to notice first. That's what we're going to focus on. So I get it. I mean, and some of this stuff is weird, but I do think it is a lot of shadow play and angles when it comes to the photographs and the physical stuff.
Yep.
And as far as the attitude change goes, he probably just kind of let fame and fortune get to his head just as any of us would, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. He's still probably one of the richest people.
Absolutely.
One of the most famous musicians.
Ever.
Like,
Ever.
ever of all time. Exactly. So, like, I don't know. I get it. Especially when you're trying to, like, kind of live the quiet life. Mm-hmm. And you have, like, the Paps pulling up on you,
For sure.
I'd be like, yeah, get the fuck away from my house too. Because also that could be scary.
Yeah.
You don't know what people are going to do. You're there with your wife. Like somehow the paparazzi, the press, they found out where you lived.
Yep.
I would not feel safe if I were him. So I get it. Absolutely.
So, you do not believe Paul is dead.
No, I don't think I do.
I do not either.
But I think it's fun.
It's so fun. I mean, this is fun. I'm sorry. It is a lot of fun. It was, quite frankly, a bitch to research and look into, but it was
know.
also, on the other
Maddie,
hand...
really? We got to give Maddie some props because she's been working on this for a long ass time. You've read, what, 3 books?
I've been working on this for a long time, and you guys, I had to make this the shortest I possibly could, and it was a bitch to do, because I'm not kidding when I've said multiple times throughout this that I could spend hours laying out every single little clue, everything that's ever been said. It's a lot. It is a lot.
It's 60 plus years, the lifetime worth of information on a person.
Absolutely. But I personally do not believe Paul is dead. I think if Paul is dead, a conspiracy is a shit ton of fun,
Oh, yeah.
but I do not truly in my heart believe Paul McCartney died. I just don't.
But what do you guys think? Because genuinely, I want to know like what everyone else thinks. And do even more research outside of this. Maybe this is just like starting to dig the rabbit hole, so to speak, for some of you guys, and you want to research this further. And if there's anything crazy that like you found that we haven't discussed, Maddie may or may not know about it, but I definitely don't know about it. So like,
Change our minds, huh?
change our minds.
Come on.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
For real though, like, I don't know. I really want to know what everyone else thinks. So
Absolutely. So is Paul dead? Question mark?
question mark, question mark, question mark.
Answer that question for us,
But
please.
yeah, send us a DM, send us an email, like talk to us. We're friendly. We don't bite for the most part. Sometimes. But no, for real, I want to know what you guys think, because this is such a fun topic.
We do. We want to know what y'all think. Let us know.
I
And
don't
thank
know.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
I know, everyone clap snaps for Maddie.
I'm done. I don't have to do another episode until 4 weeks from now.
Right? So I'm gonna bring you guys a new episode. I know we only skipped 1 week, and again, that was intentional just because it was a 2-parter. We weren't gonna make you guys wait a full 2 weeks to get the second part. I know some people have told me they're waiting to listen to the first part until the second part's released so they don't have to wait.
Yes.
Totally understand. But all that to say is, in another 2 weeks after this Friday, when this episode is released, I will be bringing you guys another fun, again, kind of paranormal, kind of not, kind of extraterrestrial, maybe. I'm going to be hitting you guys with a fun subject.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I can't wait to do that and really research into. It's another one of my special interests. I already know some about it, but it's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
And it's going to kind of correlate with some things that have been trending in the social medias and something that happened a few years ago, perhaps. But take me to your leader, Nanu.
Nanu.
E.T. phone home.
Yes, we're excited. I'm excited. I get to kick back my feet, and I don't have to do a bunch of talking.
You don't have to listen to Maddie yap. You get to listen to me yap.
Kenna.
Yay.
Kenna's gonna yap.
I'm going to need to refill my water bottle.
Well, that was it, guys.
That was it. Thank you so much for listening again to part 2 of Paul is Dead. And again, thank you so much to Maddie. That was fucking amazing. You
Thank
did
you.
such a good job researching and telling that.
Thank you so much.
And again, we're going to be hitting you guys with some, dare I say, kind of merch. I don't know, stickers. So keep an eye out on our social medias because we're going to be posting about some stickers soon. And like I said, we'll do some kind of fun giveaway where we're going to give you guys free stickers. So keep an eye out, keep your eyes peeled for how you can win free stickers, and let us know what you think. We love hearing your feedback. It's kind of been the best part about this so far, is just like everyone being like, hey, listen to your podcast, like so cool, or like telling us what you think about it, or like we genuinely like love to hear that. So
yes, please.
Thank you so much for reaching out. Don't hesitate to send us a quick message. And again, if you have your own stories that you want us to read off on the podcast, we skipped our listeners episode again to do the second part for this month, but in a few weeks we will have a fun listeners episode for you guys, or as I named it, the You Show Me Yours, I'll Show You Mine episodes. So I love that. Maybe I will get my shit together and give you guys that fun Elvis story that I have. Because again, I just want to make sure I have like all of my facts straight, and that, you know, my mom, who was also there, remembers it the same way that I do, and see if I can pull up the videos that I have from that, and then I can post that, because that would be so fun.
Boom.
Boom shakalaka. But yes, send us your fun stories, whether it's paranormal or rockstar related. Grey Schools Groupies Pod at gmail.com, and I believe our Instagram is Grey Schools Groupies Pod.
That's it.
Find us on Instagram.
Follow
Again,
us.
we're also on TikTok. We haven't posted anything on there yet. That will be changing soon.
Follow us.
Follow us on everything. And we love you guys. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm going the fuck to bed.
Me too. This is a late night recording. We're tired.
So, people, we shall see you on the other side.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. Edited by Tyler Warren. Theme music by Ace Von Johnson. Artwork and logo by Kayla Satan. Produced, researched, and tomfoolery brought to you by Maddie Laster and Kenna Crash.
His father, his father's father, his father's father's father, his father's 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 father.